Hey everybody, it's Mike and welcome to Chip Damage. And today we're doing something a little different. And that is because right now it is that very special time of year where gamers from all different walks of life gather and focus on one area, and that is E3. Yes, it is the pre-E3 hype season. Next week, and if you don't know, I'd be surprised, but it is kind of the gathering area where all video game developers, both big and small, kind of come together in Los Angeles, California and show off what they have coming out for the next couple of years. As the digital age has kind of gone on, there have been talks of whether or not E3 is still a relevant thing, whether it should be done. Like, yes, these publishers and developers could just put all their trailers online and get plenty of exposure, but I don't like that idea. I think it's great to have gamers, both players and developers, come together, talk about what's new, show off what's upcoming. It's really almost like a convention at that point, and it's just a really unique thing to gaming that I hope continues for years to come. I myself have been lucky enough to go. I was able to go E3 2018 with my two best friends, and I had a really spectacular time. Just getting to play some of those games early. I got to play Spider-Man on PS4 and Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 all weeks, months, in some cases almost a year ahead of time. So it is really a special time. Even if you can't go, it is just fun to gather with a few friends who are gaming enthusiasts, sit on the couch and watch those press conferences because some of them are really special. I'm looking at you, Sony, at E3 2016, still trying to chase that high of watching that one. That one was spectacular. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, with it being pre-E3 hype season and having a wonderful audience of commentators like yourself, like really, guys, thank you for commenting in all these videos and having some great discussions and finding things I didn't know about games and toys that are really interesting. I wanted to talk to you, my audience, about my hopes and dreams for E3 2021. Yes. In this week beforehand, I have plenty of hopes. I have plenty of dreams. Some I think are realistic. Some I think are really out there. I want to list them out here now, and I want to hear your thoughts on them. I want to hear if you think they can happen. I want to hear what you want to happen. I want this to be a discussion. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to do videos on each of the press conferences I'm going to watch. It's not going to be all of them. I usually just check out the ones I'm interested in, the bigger ones. Like, I'm not a huge, Gearbox or EA fan, so you're probably not going to hear anything about them from me. But the ones I am interested in, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So please join me as I go through this list and talk about what I'm hoping to see in the next 2 weeks. And if you like what you're about to see, please consider liking and subscribing and checking out my other videos on gaming, toy collecting, and unboxing. So without any further ado, let's get started. And who better to start us with than the company that has been in the game the longest, and that is Nintendo. So yes, Nintendo, there is a lot of rumors going around about what Nintendo is coming out with. I mean, there's always Nintendo rumors, constantly leaks, like, so, crazy stuff and some pretty practical stuff. But here's what I want to see, and I think is decently realistic. So I think that the rumors of the Switch Pro or Switch 4K or whatever you want to talk about, the next iteration, the half step, the enhanced version of the Nintendo Switch, I think that is probably coming out. There were rumors for many months about the Switch Lite, the portable only system, before that came out, and they turned out to be true. And the Switch, while still fairly new at 2017, let's see what that, 4 years old, it could use an upgrade. I mean, we are in the 4K era. The other competitors have new systems on the market. I think the Switch could use an upgrade. I wouldn't run out to buy it immediately, but I would like to see it. I'd like to see the upgrades, and I expect that to come out. What do I personally want out of it? Maybe let's go with 4K. That'd be cool. I mean, it won't kill me if it doesn't have it, but most, like, maybe esoterically, like just specific for me, I want a better interface on that Switch. I love the Switch to death. It's got great games, but I hate how dull the interface is. Don't get me wrong. I don't want ads everywhere and random pop-ups and notifications like you have on the other systems, like where it's just like some random sports event or like TV show or movie ad. No, like I just want what the Wii and Wii U had. Like, I like folders. Like, I like being able to bunch my games into folders. Like, here are my Mario games, here are my DK games, or here are my larger games, whatever. I just want a little bit more organization. I want trophies or achievements. Yes, I know it's shallow. I know it's dumb, but you got to think of it like, some gamers love high scores in arcades. Some gamers love achievements and trophies. Other consoles have them and Steam has them. I think it would be great, in terms of bragging rights and like something fun to earn, maybe earn some some currency. That's kind of out of the realm of possibility, but I want that for Nintendo. Maybe they can implement that with a better OS. And I think that is pretty set. I think these Switch Pro rumors have been going on for long enough, so I'm tired of hearing about them. But on the game front, so what have we been hearing? We've been hearing about a new Donkey Kong coming out, possibly from the makers of Super Mario Odyssey. And I would love that. I'm a huge Donkey Kong fan. I love Tropical Freeze to death. The original trilogy on Super Nintendo are some of my favorite platformers of all time. They're saying that this game would be a 3D Donkey Kong in the vein of maybe, I don't know, Donkey Kong 64. And I'm just super excited. I mean, Donkey Kong to me, honestly, I prefer the Donkey Kong 2D games over the Mario 3D games. However, I've always strongly preferred the Mario 3D games over Donkey Kong 64. So I'd love to see them give a 3D Donkey Kong game another shot. I'd be in. It's going to have good music regardless. I hope they get David Wise on there. So let's get some Donkey Kong love. It's been years since Tropical Freeze first launched. I want to see that. Bring it out. What else? There's the long-awaited Metroid Prime 4. I would love to see that. But more than that, or just as much, I would love to see a Metroid Prime trilogy collection. That's been said many times that that's in the works. Before 4 comes out, I would love to be able to get caught up on the Switch in one concise console instead of buying the expensive version on the Wii or getting a Wii U and downloading it there. I would like to have Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch as a preamble to Metroid Prime 4. If we have to wait for that for a little bit longer, which I think we do, it'd be great to just have those 3 games on a cart on the Wii now. And moving along to more of my dreams of, I won't say my dreams, but things that may be a little bit more unlikely. I really hope we get whiff of a new 3D Mario game. Yes, it's been 4 years since Mario Odyssey. I love that game. However, it's done. They didn't release too much DLC for that. And it's been a while since we've heard any rumblings of a brand new 3D Mario game. We got the re-release of 3D World, the Wii U game, along with Bowser's Fury, which was fantastic. And maybe that's a stopgap. Maybe that's like, okay, this will hold you over to the next 3D Mario. And even if that's true, I just would love to see a new, I don't know if it'd be Odyssey 2, if they go in a different direction. I would love to see a new 3D Mario, or at least hear the development on it. As far as Breath of the Wild 2, Nintendo can take their time on that. Yes, it's been 4 years since that's been released, but Zelda games have, in recent years, have had larger gaps in between. But there have been some Zelda games that are pretty damn good. In the meantime, you have the re-release of the Game Boy game, Legend of Zelda. Damn, what the heck is the name of that game? It just slipped my mind. The one with the windfish. That is Link's Awakening. Got it. Don't know how that slipped my mind. I love that game. Yeah, we just got Link's Awakening about a year and a half ago, and there's been other side Zelda projects like Cadence of Hyrule. So there's no, we're not starving for Zelda, and the longer they take on the game, the better it will be. So Zelda, I don't expect to see it this year, maybe next year. That's fine. Take your time, Nintendo, on that. But the game I, of course, want the most, more than anything, more than any game I just mentioned, more than a Switch Pro, is Bayonetta 3. Yes, as you can see here, I'm a fan of Bayonetta. I've been a huge fan of this series since it launched back in 2010 in America on the Xbox 360. I bought a Wii U when Bayonetta 2 was announced for it as an exclusive, and I was not disappointed. Bayonetta 1 was amazing, but Bayonetta 2, my top 3 games of all time. I think it is the perfect, whatever you want to call it, hack and slash, character action, third-person action. I think it is still at the top of that genre. Devil May Cry 5 came damn close, and that's an amazing game. And maybe that the development of this game is taking so long because they want to one-up Devil May Cry 5. But man, when I replayed this game on Switch a couple years after it originally came out on Wii U, it held up. And it has now been almost 4 years. If we get to December of this year without hearing of Bayonetta 3, it'll be 4 years since we've heard of that game, since it's been announced, with no footage. I want that game more than anything. I bought the Switch on the night Bayonetta 3 was announced at the Game Awards 2017. I want that game. Please let me know how it's going. My dream would be to get a release date, but just some footage, just a trailer, please, something. Platinum, hear me out. And my impossible dreams, well, okay, I got 3 for Nintendo. These are the long shots. I don't expect it, but you'll see if you stick your head out your window, if they announce these 3, you will hear me screaming regardless of where you are on this earth. My number 1 would be Mario Galaxy 3. I think Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are probably the best 3D platformers ever made. It's close. They're at least my favorite Mario 3D platformers ever made. I loved Odyssey, but I would love to see just like a Galaxy 3 or, if I can't get that, at least re-release Galaxy 2 on the Switch like you did Galaxy 1. Why you gotta do my boy Galaxy 2 like that? That game's amazing. It deserves to be re-released along with the other games. My number 2 miracle kind of wish is like the miracle wish of every Nintendo fan. Let me download Mother 3. Come on, like, just bring it to the West. I mean, if you live in a country where you can play Mother 3, appreciate it, because here in the US and over in Europe, we're just dying for this game. I want to play it. I refuse to play it on an emulator because I feel like the second I do that, it's going to come out for real. I don't know. I want the official release. Please bring Mother 3 to the US. That's been said a million times. And my last wish is really impossible. But I want this. If there's a Switch Pro and there is a new interface, please bring back some semblance of the eShop, the virtual channel, the virtual console that the Wii, the Wii U, and the 3DS had. I think that the Nintendo subscription service and Switch Online is fine, allowing you to play all those great games as long as you have the service, but you don't own those games. They go away. And yes, owning a digital game is a funny thing in of itself, but at least like if I were to discontinue my Switch Online service in a couple years, I would still have the games that I bought through the eShop, much like the Wii U or the 3DS. Like, I want to own them. I want just like a bunch of weird consoles, not just Nintendo. Like right now, there's only NES and SNES. I want N64 like the Wii had. I want Wii like the Wii U had. I want Game Gear. I want Master System. I want Commodore 64. These were all systems you were able to download games for on the Wii, Wii U, 3DS. Like, it was wacky and wild. You could download Genesis games on the Wii. I have the whole Sonic collection, and I have some Master System Sonic games on the Wii. That was so cool. Neo Geo games. I mean, those are everywhere anyway. But yes, please bring back some semblance of the eShop, and that would be an impossible dream. Nintendo, you're doing fantastic. I love what you're doing, but those are my hopes and dreams. Can't wait to see what you're actually going to do. All right, moving on to the next press conference that I'm very excited for, and that is the Xbox/Bethesda conference. Yes, Xbox and Bethesda, which Xbox recently purchased Bethesda, or Microsoft, I should say. They are holding a joint press conference, which is awesome because, you know, I think Microsoft has the most to gain out of this E3. If you don't know, I was a huge fan of the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. However, like many, I think the Xbox One just had the worst opening couple of years like a console could possibly have. I mean, Xbox was kind of like, you know, the original Xbox was kind of like this powerhouse system, but in a way it was kind of like the new kid on the block going up against the legendary PS2 and Nintendo with their GameCube, and it did well. It beat the GameCube, and then the 360 just blew the door off the hinges, right? The system in the beginning before the Kinect garbage was great, and then, you know, it was really sad to see what happened to them with the Xbox One era. However, near the end, with things like Game Pass, I think they're trying to appease gamers on both PC and Xbox. I think that's fantastic. I think right now their service model is just incredible. I love Phil Spencer. I love the head of, he's kind of the face of Xbox, so much better than Don Medrick. And I like their kind of customer service. And now they just need exclusives. They need me to want to get an Xbox Series X. And what can they do that with? Well, they have a lot of bullets in the clip on this. If they choose to fire them, they could really walk away the kings of E3 if they do some of these things. Because as I was making this list, a hell of a lot of good games. So let's start it off. Yes, Halo Infinite. You got to show it off good. I grew up with Halo. I was 11, 12 years old when the first Halo came out. I played that game for years. All the way up until Halo Reach. Halo 4, yeah, not great, but at least I picked it up on launch and enjoyed the campaign. Halo 5, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that, but I still have faith in 343 because they've done amazing work on the Master Chief Collection over the years. Yes, it launched terribly, but it has turned into an amazing collection over the last almost 7 years of support, and they've really done a number on that collection, so I know they are dedicated. I want Halo Infinite to be great. Can it ever reclaim the title of kind of the it game that Call of Duty took from it and now Fortnite took from Call of Duty? No, it can't be, but I would love it to have a larger audience. It's crossplay between Xbox and PC. It needs that Halo awe, that classy shooter feel, that like fun but not too wacky kind of like somewhere in the middle between really sci-fi and really militaristic with just like its own flavor. I want Halo Infinite to be good. I didn't think that weird Craig the Brute trailer looked as bad as everyone said. I thought the game looked like it played pretty good, but if they put a new coat of paint on it and it looks even better, all the better. Just give me a good campaign with a multiplayer that I want to keep playing. That's it. It doesn't need to make me cry, but it needs to invoke some of those feelings that I got in the campaigns of Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach. Just a little bit, and I think you're going to have a good game. All right, moving on. I mean, you got to start with Halo, right? But let's go to a game that was recently announced at the Game Awards that many people don't associate with Xbox, but it is going to be an Xbox and Microsoft exclusive, but we're talking consoles here mostly, and that is Perfect Dark. Yes, the Coalition, which is or is it the Initiative? I always mix up the Gears of War and the Perfect Dark developers. Regardless, Microsoft has a Perfect Dark game coming out, which they describe as a quadruple A game exclusive to their console and PC. Perfect Dark, classic on the N64, got a great remaster on the 360, got a not so great prequel with Perfect Dark Zero, but it was, it's still a franchise that people revered, even with only that kind of 1.5 good games. Like, people like and miss Perfect Dark. It was the step up from GoldenEye in a lot of ways back in those days, and if they pull that off, they could have a very different first-person shooter from Halo, kind of in their menagerie, kind of in their repertoire. Like, hey, if you're not a Halo fan, there's another first-person shooter exclusive to us, and that's Perfect Dark. And it can be awesome, especially with all the names of talent that I've seen or attached to it. So I hope Perfect Dark comes out looking good. I hope we get to see a little bit of gameplay. We got just a teaser at the Game Awards. Moving on, another Xbox exclusive that people are just dying for. Cannot wait to see if it's going to be good or bad, and that is the next Fable. Yes, whatever they're going to call it, the next Fable game. Fable famously is just like made by that wonderful liar Peter Molyneux. Like, Fable 1, 2, and 3, he would just make promises that couldn't possibly be lived up to. Like, oh, you can carve your name into a tree and it would, like, the wood would grow over it. No, it's all lies, but it was still a fun game that many, many people loved. I know Fable 3 was a little contentious, but Fable 1 and 2 were really good games. And Xbox is kind of hurting for RPGs at the moment. We'll get into that, why they may not be hurting for RPGs for too much longer, but that would be a strictly, kind of first-party exclusive that would draw people in. And moving along with that, we're looking at Hellblade 2. Yes, another game announced last Game Awards. And you know what? Hellblade was a fantastic semi-indie game by Ninja Theory. Kind of psychological third-person action game is the best way I can describe it. Puzzle-based, really fun, short, quick game. But it looks like Hellblade 2 will be a game to look out for. Amazing visuals already shown off in the trailer. I really hope they use that engines. A very different type of game that you wouldn't necessarily associate with Microsoft. They need stuff like that, and this shows initiative in pushing those type of games. So I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of Hellblade 2. I'm really hoping. I like the last one, but I know maybe it wasn't their intent. It's not the intention of the series. It's more to focus on Senua's her mental disability, the mad visions that she sees. But I would like a little bit more focus on combat and upgrading. The combat felt good in that game. Ninja Theory knows how to do good combat, but just a little bit more to the world, a little bit more to unlock. Use those Microsoft bucks to make a bigger game. And speaking of sequels, long awaited, we're looking at Psychonauts 2, cult classic on the original Xbox. I got kickstarted and is going to be coming to the Xbox pretty soon. Double Fine Productions. I don't know necessarily if Psychonauts 2, I do not believe that is going to be an exclusive, but that studio may have more to show off now that they are Microsoft exclusive studio. Tim Schafer here's Psychonauts 2, here's the release date, and here's our next project. I'd love to see that. And then there's the elephant in the room. What is Microsoft going to do with Bethesda? So Xbox, along with Fable, is going to have a whole slew of new RPGs if they make Elder Scrolls and Fallout exclusive to their consoles. Of course, there's a new Bethesda kind of IP everyone's waiting for, Stargate. That may be an Xbox exclusive. We may see that. It's been a couple of years since we heard of that. Maybe we'll see a hint of the new Elder Scrolls. And yes, I do think that if those games come out, they will be Xbox and PC exclusive, because originally that's what Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, my favorite game in the series, was. It was an Xbox and PC exclusive back in the day. For quite a while, Oblivion was a 360 exclusive, and Bethesda seemed to have a good working relationship with Microsoft. So yes, if they drop a Elder Scrolls sequel, a Fallout sequel, or new IP on their stage, that's going to be killer. Like, think about that. Halo, Perfect Dark, Fable 3, Hellblade 2, Psychonauts, and a new Bethesda sequel or IP. That's huge. That is like potentially E3 winning levels of games, because that is literally applying to almost every type of gamer, which Xbox has struggled for, because they've traditionally just been like, the joke. Halo, Gears, Forza. And if you didn't like those games, there was nothing really for you there. But these games, yes, I mentioned Halo Beast. I want that to be good. But these games really expand that catalog. Can't wait to see what they're going to do. My impossible dreams on those on this conference, on the Xbox One Bethesda conference. What do I want to see? Yet again, I have three. Xbox is lacking in one department they really could spruce up on, and that is the fighting game departments. I want a Killer Instinct 2, or whatever you want to call it. I loved Killer Instinct on the original Xbox One. The Xbox One. This game shaped up to be great. I loved it. I came to it late. I came to it when it was already complete. I'm kind of glad I did because I got the full experience. But man, this game was huge and had awesome characters, good combat. It is owned by Xbox. Rare is owned by Xbox, so it can only show up there and on PC. I don't want this franchise to go dormant again for many, many years. Xbox needs a fighting game. Make it KI2. Go to Maximilian's Twitter. Look at what he has to say about it. Man, I want to see a sequel to this game. All right, the second kind of dream, I want a Ninja Gaiden 4. Yes, Ninja Gaiden is no longer exclusive. That collection that's coming out with the Sigma games and Razor's Edges on every console. But to me, Ryu Hayabusa, that Ninja Gaiden, the reboot, that is an Xbox franchise. 1, Black, and 2 were the original versions of those. Were all Xbox exclusive and 360 exclusive. And, if I want to go a step further, I would love to have Oatmeal Raisin Man, Tobunobu Itagaki come back and direct them. But that's too impossible to even dream about. But I just want a Ninja Gaiden 4. Maybe like this soon-to-be-released collection is the sign of that to happen. I want that to happen. I want that to happen so much. Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 are right up there with Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, some of the greatest games ever made in any genre, but particularly in that third-person character action genre. And I love those games so much. I want them to bring back Ninja Gaiden 4 with the difficulty and gore that it is known for, please. And my farthest out dream, and yet again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my Rare Xbox game video. You'll know about this game. I want something from the Otogi franchise. If you don't know, quick preamble. Otogi was a two game series released on the original Xbox, made by From Software with some members of the Dark Souls team. You can kind of sense the DNA where you're set in feudal Japan, where this ridiculously powerful warrior Raiko or his band of friends, and you fight demons and monsters from Japanese lore and mythology. Somewhere in between a game like Ninja Gaiden and Dynasty Wars is where you want to put the combat. Just somewhere in that level of kind of precision, but you're stupidly powerful. You can make 40-foot vertical jumps, you can almost fly, and you can knock over buildings, put craters in the ground, completely destructible environments. I want an Otogi remaster, re-release, or heaven forbid, an Otogi 3. Crazy dream, but like I said, in my heart of hearts, that's just like a all out there shot. Give me an Otogi remaster, re-release, please. Make it backwards compatible. But moving along to one of my favorite companies. These are all some of my favorite companies. We are looking at Square Enix. I don't need to go far through this. You already know what I'm going to say. I want to see some Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 trailer. That's it. I know we're not getting a release date, but man, it's been over a year, and the DLC is just about to drop with Yuffie. Give us a trailer. Give me something. I want to see it. Take your time on it. I'm glad they Square took their time on the Part 1 of the remake, but because yes, it turned out to be great. I see where that time went, but I do want a little bit of a hint of when this is coming out. Will it be 2022, or will we get that nebulous coming soon? Just a little tease. You don't need to see much. Maybe just see Vincent Valentine like a coffin open up and then it cut away and it says 2022. Like that's all I need. Or you hear the music of Cosmo Canyon and you just see like a red crater or red mountains in the background and cut to black. That's all I need. Please give me something. Throw me a bone. Love what you're doing with the remake, Square. Keep it going. And another one that I expect to see, however, I really need to be proven on this one, is Final Fantasy 16. Now, they showed a trailer for this late last year, and to be honest with you, I wasn't captured by it. I watched the trailer, I thought it was visually very impressive, I thought the combat looked fun, but the world and characters itself, maybe just not my bag. It is definitely Western inspired. It is more knights and swords rather than sci-fi or Eastern fantasy, and that kind of leans into the Final Fantasy 14 vibe, which I believe it has the same team working on it, and that's never really been my bag. I love all the Final Fantasy games, except for Part 2, but this isn't the type of game that initially grabbed me, and that's because I can't remember one outstanding character from the trailer, and I've seen it multiple times, and I think it's fair to say that the most popular Final Fantasy games, maybe not the best, but at least the popular, in no particular order, are 6, 7, 9, and 10. And the reason for that is because right away when you think of those games, you think of main character or characters plural, and the villain. Like right away they just pop to your head. Like 6, like there's a visual grab, and there's something there. Like 6, it's Terra, girl with green hair, and Kefka, evil clown wizard. Like they're just there. Like they grab you visually, even with the sprites. Like that game had a very particular look. 7, like you think right away, Cloud and Sephiroth, or maybe like Barrett with the gun, like Red 13, like the Red Lion Dog, like guy with blonde hair, big sword, or silver hair, long. Like they're visual indicators. A good guy, bad guy, iconic. 9, Zidane, Kuja, Vivi, like just on a visual flair look. 10, the whole cast. In 14, no one grabbed me as such an outstanding character or an interesting story hook. We don't know much of it yet again, this is very early, but I want the next trailer to impress me more. Like, example, one of my least favorite Final Fantasies, still a great game, is Final Fantasy 12, because the only thing, what immediately pops to your head when you think of 12? Is it Vaughn? Is it the rest of the party, like the main villain? Is it, the main villain of the game? I struggle to think of his name at the moment. No, everyone thinks of Fran, like the sexy bunny girl, and Gabrant, the guy in the armor, one of the judges, who are not the main character or the main villain. Like it's very, like that game had the same problem where it was a very different vibe, it was kind of set in in the area of Turkey, and it kind of went down the more realistic route, and I'm more for the wacky stuff. Call me silly, and maybe there will be. I'm still going to get this game, don't get me wrong, but I want to be excited for this game. I want Square to show this game off and excite me. Other rumor that we're hearing from Square Enix is from their, I believe, Eidos Crystal Dynamics, one of the studios under them. They're bringing out their rumors of a Guardians of the Galaxy game. I don't care about this. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, both comics and movies. But after the atrocity that was the Avengers game, which it was so soulless. Say what you will about the gameplay or Kamala Khan being the main character or the weird grinding, blah, blah, blah. It just felt soulless. It didn't feel like there was a lot of love behind it. I mean, it had 3 villains at launch, and Spider-Man was exclusive to Sony, which was, that, even as someone who'd probably played on PlayStation the most, that's just, no. And I feel like that would be the same deal. Marvel games these days are pretty corporate. You get some rare exceptions, like Ultimate Alliance 3, surprisingly not that evil feeling, not that soulless. A little bit of love went into Ultimate Alliance 3. Not the best game, but still had some heart. So Guardians of the Galaxy might be shown off. I mean, so Square used that Marvel license, but please do better if you do that. And one thing that there are also rumors of that I am excited to see would be Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection on anything. These games are getting harder and harder to find. You can get most of them or all of them really, on the Vita if you have one of that. But that's the newest system you can kind of get these on if you don't want to get them on your phone or PC, which is still a great option. But for the consoles, imagine a 1 through 6 collection on Switch, just on the go. I think that'd be great. As far as 3 and 4, I don't care if they're the 2D versions or the 3D versions, but it'd be cool to get a 2D version of Final Fantasy in the West, or Final Fantasy 3 in the West for the first time. That'd be cool. But anyway, that I can really just play Final Fantasy 4 and 6 again. With all the bells and whistles from the prior, if they do the 2D version of Final Fantasy 4, I want everything from that PSP version. I want the after years. I want the interlude. I want the opening cutscenes from 6, from the Origins. I want all the stuff from the Game Boy Advance version. I want a comprehensive Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection on anything but mobile phones. Please, just not mobile phones. I don't care for mobile phone games. I never feel like I own them, and I never play them. I'd rather have them on my Switch or my console, or even PC in one concise collection. My Impossible Dream for Square, well, they're already doing My Impossible Dream with a great remake of Final Fantasy VII, but I would love to see something for the next Kingdom Hearts game, whether that be Kingdom Hearts 4 or some spin-off, just yet again, anything that's not a mobile game. For the love of God, not a mobile game, just Kingdom Hearts. I don't care if it's a Switch exclusive or whatever, just a teaser, one of those impossibly cool trailers that are shown off 10 years before the game comes out. I want that for Kingdom Hearts, whatever, 4, or some crazy title, what can, I can't even predict a title for Kingdom Hearts. That's just too nuts. So yeah, that's my Impossible Dream. Oh, and by the way, can't wait to see a little bit more of The World Ends With You, Neo, The World Ends With You. But yeah, that's Square Enix. Looking forward. Impressed me with FF16. Let me know what you guys thought of that FF16 trailer as well. All right, moving on to Namco, Bandai Namco. This is quick. Bandai Namco just owns like so many licenses. It's hard to kind of keep track sometimes. But I would love to hear word of like a Dragon Ball Fighters 2. I love Fighters. I think it was fantastic. I think the character rollout was a little too slow, but great fighting game. There's of course improvements that can be made. Maybe make it with that Guilty Gear Strive engine that looks so good these days. That would be cool to see. Just take user feedback on that, give it a little bit better of an online experience. But yeah, maybe hear about Tekken 8. I think our Polish Prime Minister, who I love, by the way, Lydia, like fantastic character, was the last Tekken 7 character. Tekken 7 has been a game since 2015 on arcade. So yeah, I think it's time that we get a little tease for Tekken 8. Soul Calibur, man, Soul Calibur's in a weird spot. It was like an amazing game that almost everybody loved. Soul Calibur 6 really brought the franchise back quality, but you didn't hear a lot about it. I don't know if it sold incredibly well. I think it sold like well enough to get 2 seasons of really good characters. I mean, 2B and Hamaru, and you got the dude from The Witcher, Geralt. Like, just I'd love maybe another season or just some update on Soul Calibur. But yeah, that's kind of all I really care about from Bandai Namco and my impossible dream for them. And if you don't know what this is, please check out my Rare PS2 Games video. I would love a collection of the first 4 dot hack games from the PS2, remastered in one package. A couple years, and this isn't out of the realm of possibility. It is an impossible dream in a way. They remastered the dot hack GU games in 2017, which I love. I think they're better than the original quadrilogy of games. However, they were far less popular, so I really wonder how that got the trilogy and how the Poster Boys game, like Kite, his didn't get that remaster. So I want that. I would love to have all 4 of those games on one solid disc. I would replay them all seamlessly. And if you don't know why I'd want this so much, is like, I'm lucky to have these games. If you want all 4 of those games, dot hack, the original set, you're looking to spend like $600-700. That's not fair. That game is going to disappear in the wind. You can't download it anywhere. So yeah, dot hack remasters for Kite's games, dot hack Infection, Mutation, Quarantine, and Outbreak. Please, please, please think about it. Hey, you did GU. Why not just do the whole series? And lastly, the one I'm most excited for, the one I have the most to say about, is Capcom. Yes, well, what do I want from Capcom? Well, they've announced some of the things they're already going to show. I didn't take a too deep look at that. I know there's like an Ace Attorney collection coming out and a few other neat bells and whistles, but what I really, really want to see is, of course, starting with Resident Evil 8 DLC. I love Resident Evil 8, but I'm done with it. I want some more stuff. I want something in the lines of maybe an expanded Mercenaries mode or another campaign along the lines of like Assignment Ada or End of Zoe. Those are all great DLCs. I really hope it doesn't go down the route of Resident Evil 3, which was a great game, but it got no support. I think you got like a pre-order bonus costume and stuff for that terrible multiplayer mode. Like, no, I would like a little bit of story DLC, like what was Chris doing or anything. Just a little bit more reason to hop back in that game. Resident Evil 8 DLC. I think that's within the realm of possibility. That game sold like crazy. What's a little bit more out there, but I don't think it's totally nuts, is a new Mega Man game. Mega Man 11 came out in 2019, 18? No, 18. Yes, 2018, late 2018. And it was great. It sold pretty well. Mega Man's been on a roll with the re-releases of the Legacy Collection, the X Collection, and the Zero Collection. I would love to see a Mega Man 12, or better yet, because I'm more of an X guy myself, an X9. 2D X9, please, and not even 2.5D. Like, my dream would be for it to be sprite-based, but it's going to be 2.5D. Do like an X game, or a Battle Network collection or a Star Force collection. I've only ever played a Battle Network for a brief time, but I really liked it. Never touched the Star Force games. There were just so many of them. I would love a nice, concise collection of those games on the Switch, PS5, or Xbox. Because right now you can only play them on a console if you have the Wii U, and I don't keep that hooked up all the time, and I don't want to buy them each piecemeal because there's like 4 versions of like each of these 10 games. Like a nice, concise collection of Battle Network or Star Force. Why not complete the series? And then you give us Mega Man Legends, the collection, because right now, unless you want to drop $1,000 and one of your kidneys, you cannot play Mega Man Legends unless you get a PS3 and download them. But no, I want a physical release of Mega Man Legends 1 and 2, and don't you dare forget Tron Bonne, because that's the expensive one. I want that on a disc or a cart or on Steam right now. Capcom, do it. Don't stop with the Zero collection. Keep going with the Mega Man collections. Please, make a lot of people's dreams come true. These games are great. Love Mega Man Legends. Something I think is obvious that they're going to show is some Street Fighter DLC, Street Fighter 5 DLC. Maybe we'll get the release date of Oro. Oro from Street Fighter 3 may just release on the day of the conference. That'd be cool. And get a look at Akira, the Rival Schools character. I don't think we're going to get the reveal of the hidden fifth character. It would be amazing if it did happen. I'm hoping for Terry Bogard, of course. But, you know, I think we're going to hear more about Street Fighter 5, but not Street Fighter 6, because I think they'd be shooting themselves in the foot. Releasing those so close together. Like I would expect Street Fighter 5 to be totally done. Like we know there's going to be a Street Fighter 6, but don't start getting us hyped on that. Start getting us hyped on the end of Street Fighter 5. Finish with a bang. I think that was a problem with 5. People were barely done with Ultra 4 by the time 5 came out. So yeah, Capcom, just keep rolling with 5. Show us some cool stuff, some cool stages. Drop Oro. Let's see Akira. Put Terry Bogard in that game. That's just me though. One thing that's also in the realm of possibility that many people think I'm crazy for is I want to see the Capcom vs. SNK games remastered, or at least Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO as a downloadable title. It is possible. SNK vs. Capcom Match of the Millennium, the Neo Geo Pocket Color game, was just recently released on the Switch. Capcom and SNK are talking to each other. There's friendly banter. If that game can get a digital release, that super obscure, awesome, but super obscure and low-selling game can get a digital re-release, why not one of the most revered games of all time in the fighting game genre, Capcom vs. SNK 2? But don't stop there. Do a collection. Do Capcom vs. SNK 1 Pro, Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO, and SNK vs. Capcom SVC Chaos. I know that game ain't great. I love it though. I have fun. Put all 3 of them on a digital collection. I know I ain't gonna get a disc for that, but you know what? If you have to, just put one of them out. Put at least 2 out with online play. Good online play. You will make so many fans happy. King of Fighters is bigger than ever. Everyone loves Street Fighter. So please, Capcom vs. SNK 2 online. Make it happen, Capcom. Please. I think we're also gonna see some of their new IP. I think that was spoken about. Pragmata, that space game that they announced quite a while back. I believe it got pushed to like 2022 or 2023, but it was like Death Stranding but in space, but more Japanese, and it looked cool. Capcom, I'm always down for a new IP. You know, every time you bring out, like, the last big IP that I really fell in love with, it was quite a while ago. I guess that would have been Azura's Wrath, which I love. It's one of the best games on that generation of consoles. I don't care about the ending being locked away. Ghost Trick, I guess. Like, I'm trying to think of the last new Capcom IP that really grabbed me. It was like Azura's Wrath. So yeah, want to see what they've been cooking up with Pragmata. And yeah, so what are my impossible dreams for Capcom? Well, I want this right here, an Okami 2. Yeah, it's not happening. I remember that Nakamura, the developer that was over at Tango Studios, spoke with Hideki Kamiya, and there was like a tweet about working on a new Okami. I don't think that's happening. Kamiya once showed him playing Beautiful Joe like on a Switch, or like was playing a Switch saying something about Beautiful Joe. That never came to fruition. You know, he doesn't work there anymore. He's in Platinum Games. I don't think Capcom ever wants to touch Okami again, but I would love to just see a true blue sequel to it. Okami Den is fine, but I want to play as Ami and not Chibi Terasu. But, you know, I won't be too disappointed because I still have the first Okami in HD. Keep re-releasing that. I will replay that every time it gets re-released. And my biggest dream of all is obvious. It's humble and it's possible. That is a Marvel vs. Capcom collection on the modern day consoles. Yes, it can happen. Capcom has been releasing the Marvel vs. Capcom games in those very expensive arcade one-up cabinets like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 all the way back to like X-Men Children of the Atom. They haven't re-released Marvel 2 yet, but that they have the license. The license between Capcom and Marvel is still going if they're making those arcade machines. Please, don't limit those to just those arcade machines. Those amazing games that have inspired so many people to get into fighting games, both Eastern, Western fans, people, fans of comics, people, the fan of Capcom games. Those are the best. Like, those are the broadest fighting games of all time. People want them back. You cannot get them easily right now. Please bring back a collection. And you know what? I'm going to go for gold. I want them all there. I want X-Men Children of the Atom. I want Marvel Superheroes. I want X-Men versus Street Fighter. I want Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom 1, and Marvel versus Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes. One collection. I will pay $60 for that. No problem. And give it good online. And yeah, that kind of does it for my E3 dreams, by the way. That's Man, that's a lot, and thank you for joining me on this. I want to hear what you think of these predictions, this list. I want you to suggest stuff for me to keep my eye on. I want to hear your dreams. I want to hear your realistic guesses and your impossible dreams. Like right now, you know what? What do I want? I want Dante and Smash Brothers to be announced at the Nintendo conference. There you go. Is it impossible? No. Is it likely? Definitely not. But please, like, I want stuff like that. Let me know. And as these conferences happen, I will release a video talking about what they did, how they did. Maybe I'll even grade them. I want to hear your thoughts. Please tune into E3. Make them know that we still want this to happen, that it's still cool to like watch announcements on a grand stage for video games as we get together. I know that it's been oversaid that it's the Super Bowl of gaming, but it's kind of what it is. Everyone who's a big gamer is on their PC, phone, or, you know, gathered around the couch watching these conferences, and it's really magical. So please, check it out. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please let me know. My name is Mike. This has been Chip Damage. Get hyped for E3, and please take care of yourselves. Thank you.